This project has to do with bones, which are also called armatures in Blender. The idea with this is that rather than trying to move every single individual point when animating, it's much easier if you can somehow assign all of those things and basically move the bones themselves rather than moving each of the individual points. So the basic idea is I have something like the person model. You can use your actual person model if you want to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add in an armature and a single bone. Once I am in object mode, I will add an armature and a single bone. So there it is. It's kind of hidden. It'll be kind of hard to put this in the right spot without being able to see through the mesh. So rather than using solid, I'm actually going to view it using wireframe. So now I can actually see the interior of it. So I'm going to go into orthographic so it's easier to figure out if I'm lining things up. Look at it from the different views. All right, that looks reasonably good. So much like with other kinds of objects, you can scale these guys up, and I'm going to want to do that. So I'm going to put the center right about there, scale it up so that the other end is up here. So 1, 3, 7, that looks pretty good. So there's a particular bone that is going to basically be the center of my model. So now at this point what I want to do is I'm going to want to go into edit mode. Notice you can select the ends of the bone or the whole bone itself in this mode. So what I'm going to want to do is I can actually extrude from these bones as well. So if I hit E for extrude and go just on the y-axis, I can extrude out a bone to this end. Do the same thing here for this arm, and extrude up on the z-axis. So the idea is that I'm basically putting bones where they should be in between. Now it might be that I only want it, maybe I want to put it in an elbow instead of just having it be one long arm. So maybe I want to extrude twice. So I'm going to stay on the y-axis and extrude again on the y-axis. And then I'm going to put bones in the legs as well. Bone perhaps is the wrong word for this. It's more like an animation point that you're going to use. And then here. You generally want to always extrude from a bone that exists. It just makes it easier to do. There we go. So now I have my armature. So the next thing I want to do is I actually want to parent the object to the armature. So you actually select the mesh first, and then the armature, and then you want to parent one to the other. You can find that under the Object Parent area, or do Control P for this. So if I do Control P, I want to parent the armature deform, and I can use automatic weights, which is basically what bone heat used to be in the previous version, or I can use envelope weights. If we do automatic weights, let's see how that turns out. So now that I have this, notice there's this little dotted line that puts one to the other. If I select the armature and go into pose mode, I can now rotate, and it rotates the mesh with me. So notice that it actually rotates the mesh as you go as well. Also, if I rotate here, notice that it goes down the line to all the points after that. So that's one advantage of this, is that it allows it to, instead of having to like pose every single thing all the way down the chain, it automatically inherits down the chain. Now there are times when the bone heat is a little funny. So notice here, like it's moving the neck, which I might or might not want, depending. If I go back into object mode and basically undo the parenting, so if I do the mesh, well, if I look at this armature, over here, when you have the armature selected, there's this area which is the bones. If I select that and then take a look at, where's the envelope mode? I swear I saw it earlier. There we go. So if you go under this person here, and then go under envelope, if you go into edit mode, notice that it's got this kind of gray area around it. That's called the envelope. That's how much of the area is being affected by the bone. So what you can do is you can actually scale the bone itself up to increase the size of the envelope, and every point that is contained within that envelope will be affected by that bone moving. So if I move this bone, it's going to affect all these points that are in this area here. This is a little bit more of an advantage in that you can actually set these envelopes to be specifically how big you want them. So, and you can actually increase, scale the end size as well. So if you want it to, for example, I might want just the hand to be affected by this area down here, but I might not want to scale this size up as much. And especially here, I probably want to scale this guy down a bit so that it doesn't affect the neck over here, and then scale up this bone here so that this one does affect the neck. And then when I do the parenting, what will happen is, in object mode, I select my armature, or sorry, object, then the armature, Control P to parent, and then I can use the envelope weights. And then those envelopes are what are going to actually affect it. The basic idea is just to do this parenting and then do pose mode and give your person some sort of an active pose, so something that actually uses the bones.